Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another in our Smart Skills for Success video series. Today, I'm going to be talking about tune into feelings. So, this is a warm yellow strategy, as we call it in our system. So, if you have your 40i in front of you, if you could pull up this graph and just take a look at your score there, just to see what your preference is. This is the first in the 3 warm yellow strategies. We have tune in, empathize, and express, and they actually work together. So this grouping is called compassion. We've named it compassion, and each of these 3 is a step in creating a more compassionate workplace. So the first step is about noticing other people's emotions. So that's simply tune in. The second step, actively listening without judging, would be us using our empathize strategy. And I will be talking about that in this specific empathize video. And the third step is being able to express our opinions in a respectful and collaborative way. So that's the strategy aptly named Express. So there was an amazing article in the Harvard Business Review. Here's the title of the article from August 2017. And research and findings are letting us know that when people feel psychologically safe, it leads to a less stressful work environment, greater job satisfaction, and that psychological safety brings out the positive emotions in us, and such as curiosity, confidence, inspiration. And when we feel safe in our workplace, we're able to create greater relationships and basically create greater resources, which is the raison d'etre of most companies. So I urge you to read this article on psychological safety. And for today, I'm going to be talking about tune in and how it relates to us individually. So it's simply noticing other people's emotions. So here we have these cute little creatures picking up on the environment around them. So we're not saying that other people's emotions are your problem. Of course, some people in organizations do need to deal with other people's emotions. If you're in a leadership situation or, employee assistance or human resources, often they're tasked with working with people's emotions. In this, we're just asking you to be able to pay attention to what's going on with other people. So tuning in is simply sensing and connecting with the emotional dimensions of a situation, other person, or group. So for instance, in my line of work, typically I'm delivering training. So it's in my best interest to have an understanding of the dimensions of the group. How is the group feeling? Are they happy to be here? Are they miffed that they have to come on this training? Tuning in provides the personal emotional data you need for building relationships. It helps you to be able to uncover the emotional truth of a situation, and you should use it when you believe there's more to the situation than meets the eye. Having an accurate emotional reading of a situation will lead to greater understanding of and compassion for others. So this is the first step in offering compassion. So if you happen to have a low score in tune in, so something less than 20 perhaps, you may be missing important information on how to interact, relate, persuade, negotiate, and resolve conflict well with other people. You may not understand how your actions are impacting other people. You may be missing the emotional clues that they're giving you around just how you're being with them. And you may be missing the opportunity for a deeper, more authentic connection. So I think salespeople are often quite high in tune in. They're able to read a situation, understand where the other person or sometimes couple of people are coming from in order to be able to understand how to sell more effectively to them. So I think in this case, this is one of my pet peeves. I'm actually quite high in tune in, and I feel I'm often pretty aware of my surroundings. So here's one of my pet peeves is being in the grocery store and completely being oblivious to the fact that there's other people in the grocery store and you're blocking their way. So this guy is oblivious to the slight frustration that the man behind him is feeling. So if you are interested in developing your skills, I would suggest you just listen to, watch, and notice the more subtle cues of behavior, body language, mood, expressions, tone of voice, and speed of speaking to help you understand the emotional depth of a situation. So you're kind of focusing on what's not being said. Focus on the conversation and suspend your own need to come up with new ideas. I find people who are very high in green, as opposed to perhaps listening to what's really being said, they're thinking up new ideas for how to deal with a situation. Or if they're high in red, they're often making decisions in their head or offering their opinions about what's next. I'm just suggesting you stay in yellow, gather as much emotional information as possible, and observe with total awareness. And sometimes that might mean you have to just stop talking for a few minutes in order to really relate. So just as a suggestion for something you might like to try, so when you're having an encounter with someone else, ask yourself, when you're really, really observing, how is the other person feeling right now? And if you're bold enough, you can even say, how are you feeling right now? And then it's a good way to check your accuracy in reading the emotional situation. So did you get it right? So an appropriate use of tune-in, so your scores, you might have average scores in this, whatever your scores are, being able to have enough sense to be able to read the emotional situation and understand how to appropriately relate to the other person will be huge for you. Also, when you're tuning in, the next step would be altering your own behavior to fit the situation in order to create effective relationships and respond appropriately. So I have a funny video here. It's actually a beer commercial and it's Australian. So the accents are a bit strong, so you can play it again if you can't quite catch all the words in the beginning. But I'd just like you to observe one of the guys and how he responds in this tricky situation. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you're picking up on it, it wasn't quite so subtle. This guy was quite overt in his reading of the situation, realizing the wife here was very emotional, felt she wasn't consulted on these boys going away for the weekend, and had made all kinds of effort with the mother-in-law, made a lasagna, which she was going to throw in the bin, and was off her rocker basically with anger. So in comes our hero. He reads the situation appropriately, relates to her. I'm sure he doesn't normally speak in that tone of voice. He doesn't normally, touch his friends and, in a calming sort of way and speak like that and use those same sort of words. So he was extremely clever here, tuned in immediately. As the title is, he speaks woman. So he was able to relate appropriately, de-escalate the situation, and get exactly what he wanted. So kudos to him for being so clever. An overuse of tune-in could mean you're focusing only on the emotions in a situation and not noticing factual details. You're allowing other people's emotions to negatively impact you. And you're so aware of negative emotions that you're picking up from others that your own outlook, sense of control, and initiative may be impacted negatively. So I'm actually quite high in tune-in myself personally. And I do find that this is a trap that I fall into sometimes, where I am focused on the emotions of what's going on, and I'm not necessarily aware of some of the logical details, and I allow it to cloud my judgment sometimes. So this is one that I'm really high in. And if you have a high score in something, it's almost like a value for me that I find it so important that I listen to people, I pay attention to people, I pay attention to what's going on with others. But I am working to lessen it so that I am able to use it appropriately so that it doesn't negatively impact me and I'm still able to make good decisions. So in summary, using tune-in appropriately can give you information that will help you relate effectively to others so you understand where they are and you can pitch your communication more effectively to them. You'll be able to make decisions and solve problems, taking into account factual information that you gain through SCAN, which is one of the cool yellow strategies about gathering factual information. And you'll also be gaining emotional information through your use of TuneIn. And in an ideal world, you'll be contributing to a more compassionate workplace. So thank you very much for listening today. And please follow us on the One Smart World Academy for more videos like this one around the strategies and the skills. And if you'd like to, follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. So thank you again. Have a great day and take care of yourself. Bye for now.